Questions for Paul?
Paul, welcome to the show. How's it feel?
Nice to be here. Big stadium.
What's it been like the past 24 hours for you?
Busy a little bit. Yeah, had a little bit of a reprieve. Got to come in here and work out yesterday. But other than that, like settling in and that kind of thing. But love Pittsburgh. It's awesome.
Can you just tell us a little bit about the call, how you found out you're getting promoted?
Yeah, so we had an 11 a.m. game, and I had a bullpen in the morning, so I had to, waking up at 7 a.m. during season is not fun. So headed over to the stadium early, got that stuff done, played the game, went home and took a nap, and then woke up to 3 missed calls from our manager, Miggy. Called him back and got the call.
Did he try to mess with you? Because he's known for that.
Yeah, no, he's great. And so I woke up and I saw the missed calls. I didn't have his number saved. He texted me, hey, it's Miggy, like whatever. And so I call him back. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, are you coming to dinner? Miggy, nobody told me about dinner. Like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, you're not coming to dinner? And I'm like, no, I don't know what's going on. He says, are you really going to make me look for another pitcher on Saturday? I'm like, I don't know, am I? He says, yeah, you are, because you're going to the show. So about a 2-minute phone call, and then I had to make a lot of other phone calls right after.
Paul, you and Jared have had a fun relationship for a while now, and then Bradenton looked like it almost got competitive in a fun way. How much cooler will that be now that you're both here, and even then pitching back to back?
Yeah, I think that's the coolest part about it, at least for these first couple days for me, is pitching back to back with him. I've played against him forever, since we were 10 or 11 years old, and I've known who he is for a while, so nice to be on the same side as him, for sure.
Paul, I think everyone at this point knows what you can do with your fastball and your slider, but just how do you feel like the rest of your pitches are coming along? How do you feel that your repertoire is other than those 2 pitches, in particular that splinter that you've been implementing? How are those pitches all looking, and how do you feel like those set up the fastball and slider?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like you said, is just setting up the fastball and the slider. Just setting up pitches to get hitters out, and quickly. So that's been kind of the biggest thing in terms of like learning over the past couple months, is just learning how to use my pitches and set up out pitches late in the count. Learning how to read hitters and all that, but I've been super happy with it.
Paul, I know you were only there for 7 games, but what did you take away from being in AAA? Was it more, on the mound, or just even off the field, like just learning how to be a pro?
Yeah, a little bit of both. The club that we have down there is really good. Got a lot of veterans, so just being able to pick their brains has been, a great experience. So in terms of off the field, like how to manage it all, that's been really good. And then on the field, obviously, getting professional hitters out is difficult, and figuring out different ways to do that kind of week to week. It's been a fun learning process.
What were these last 2 months like for you? Whenever you obviously have the stuff to be a big leaguer, but you got to take those baby steps to adjust to the professional game, get up here.
Yeah, just taking it a day at a time, and knowing that going into each outing with a plan of I didn't really ask them what the limits were. Obviously there were limits on each outing, but going in basically with the mindset of I'm going to get outs as quickly as possible, and then having a little bit different plan in each of those outings in terms of how I was going to do that.
Are you able to appreciate your last couple of years? 2 years ago you were pitching at the Air Force Academy, and now you're about to be pitching in the major leagues. That doesn't happen very often, if not ever, how fast this all went down. Are you able to recognize that now, or has it just been too much of a blur for you even to comprehend?
Yeah, I try to look back and reflect as much as I can, and I think it doesn't feel like a blur. 2 years ago feels really long ago and really short ago at the same time, if that makes sense. So in some ways it flew by, and in some ways it was really long. But like biggest thing is just a day at a time, and just putting the work in, and then stuff like this can happen. Not just for me, but for anybody. So it's you know, a lot of blessings have come my way, not just over the past couple of years, but you know, throughout my entire career. And I think, you know, this is you know, a step, I think, in that.
All the work you've put in with the repertoire, you know, behind the scenes in the minor leagues, in college, you know, what's the feeling about having the chance to see how it plays at the big league level?
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, biggest thing is, you know, just want to see how it plays. I don't think it's going to be too different. Usage, like I said, usages might change, that kind of thing, but it's going to be fun to, you know, be with, you know, some veterans who've been around the game and that kind of thing, and be able to learn from them.
Well, you're coming in here with a lot of external expectations. Do you think about that internally at all, and how do you kind of manage that in your mind?
Day at a time. I do my best to not see any of it, but it's unavoidable at the same time. You're going to have to see some of it. So biggest thing is just showing up and working, and you know, taking it a day at a time.
Paul, seeing what the rotation has done all season, Jared, you know, the rest of these guys, that kind of heightened the excitement to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch. And obviously watching kind of as a fan for the past month or so. But yeah, I'm excited.
Paul, did you sense it was close?
I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of knew that once the build-up had finished, that it, you know, it could happen, but didn't really know exactly when that build-up was going to finish. In my mind, yeah, I felt ready since, you know, the beginning of the off season, but obviously, you know, the club has, you know, their definition of ready also in terms of, like, you know, building me up and that kind of thing, because you can't just show up in spring training and throw 7 innings, even if I feel like I can. So, yeah, it's just been, you know, like I said, just taking it a day at a time and trying not to worry too much about that.
When you see the success that Jared has had, and they obviously had a very dedicated plan for him too, so got to sweet it, that sort of maybe quell some of that, like, all right, like, it allow you to maybe trust the process a little bit more, or at least sort of appreciate the process a little bit more.
For sure. Yeah, and it's also a little bit easier to know that I'm kind of not the only one that's going through it, because it is frustrating, you know, to go out there and throw 3 innings, regardless of, like, I knew that I was going to throw 3 innings, and I knew that it was setting me up to be able to throw 6, 7, 8 innings in, you know, September, October this year. But it's still frustrating at the time. So it's nice to know that, you know, I'm not the only one going through it.
Paul, I know you're probably in early elementary school when this happened, but are you familiar at all with the spectacle that was Steven Strasburg's debut? Have you ever taken the time to watch that on YouTube and, you know, take all that hype in?
Not really.
No?
No.
Okay.
Well, with everything going on, will you be able to take a second tomorrow and really take it all in? Because, I mean, obviously it's a realization of a long time dream to get here.
Hopefully. Like I said, I try to reflect as much as I can and think on, you know, past experiences and that kind of thing. I remember when, you know, being in Omaha last year in the College World Series, that I pitched in the first game, and somebody came up to me and asked me, like, you know, how was it? I'm like, I don't really know. It was just pitching, even though it was in front of the most fans I'd ever pitched in front of. And so that's knowing myself. That's kind of how I handle it. But I definitely want to, you know, take a minute and you know, realize how cool it is.
Reasonable to expect a big crowd here tomorrow, but family and friends wise, how many people are you expecting?
Not totally sure. My immediate family is coming, and my grandparents are coming, so yeah, it's going to be nice to experience it with them.
Paul, do you have a sense of how thirsty Pirates fans are to see the team get back into the playoffs? And do you have a message specifically for fans who are excited to see you play?
Yeah, I would definitely say we're close, and I think being around the team in spring training and watching the club over the past month or so, we're close, and I think there's a lot to look forward to.
Paul, when Jared made his major league debut, he was asked what his plan was, and he said it was to shove. What's yours?
It's a shove.
Paul, you mentioned that you didn't know that it was Miggy that was calling you. Was that an intentional was it just, that you just didn't happen to have his number in your phone? Is that intentional? Because you're like, oh, I'm not gonna be here that long.
No. He had never, to be honest, I probably should have saved it at some point. I probably should have asked for his number or something like that. I also had my phone just on silent, and so I just had no idea he was calling me. But yeah, I wasn't expecting a phone call, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that to be how I found out.
Did you think he was gonna set you up in his office or something like that? And
Yeah, I mean, everyone's seen those videos, and I was kind of expecting something like that. And yeah, so I was expecting, something at the field or something like that, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't exactly what I expected.
you had Grandal there for a couple of weeks today, and he was talking to us the other day about how sort of the work that you did in between the starts is sort of what impressed him the most. I mean, what did he show you anything? What was his sort of input towards helping you, the last little finishing touches of this process?
Yeah, I threw to him once, and that was, he called the game differently than I had ever been used to. And it was really cool to pitch to him. Different in a good way. And the way he's been playing, at this level for a long time. Like he can catch, and so on the field that's really cool. But like you said, in between starts, being able to pick his brain and listening to how he goes about game planning and how he goes about calling the game and that kind of thing. And then listening to guys like that talk, they're just like an encyclopedia of how to get guys out. It's really cool you can ask him about any player, and he'll tell you how to get him out, it's really cool for me.
Paul, in all seriousness, what's your definition of a successful start tomorrow?
Just executing.
What would you like to be able to showcase, or what would you like to be able to do tomorrow? Is there anything particular you want to execute?
Just want to put us in a position to win. I don't know about specifics yet. Kind of just started looking into them, but yeah, just want to execute and put us in a position to win.
I wanted to follow up on the change up in the splinter you're talking about. In particular, the splinter's been a great fit for you. Can you tell, when did that evolve? When did you come up with that pitch? You talk about learning when to use it, how to use it. What's your comfortability with using it a lot right now?
Yeah, super comfortable with it. And I think it's just reading hitters and having that feel for the game and that kind of thing that's developed with that about how to throw it, when to throw it. But yeah, I'm super comfortable with it. It's a pitch that hasn't really developed a ton. I've just thrown it more over the past, obviously this season, but once I got into pro ball last year too, I just was able to throw it more. Wasn't really a pitch I could throw in college. And it was also a little bit different last year at LSU too. So, but yeah, super comfortable with it, and just another weapon to get guys out.
Paul, we talked to your two of your coaches from LSU and the Air Force yesterday on the radio. They talked about how you're a better person than you are a baseball player. What do you take from them that they taught you over your collegiate career to bringing this to the big leagues now?
Who'd you talk to?
Both your LSU coach and your Air Force coach. So, both the managers.
Oh, managers. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Kaz is the Air Force coach. He always says it's his mission to develop war fighters more than baseball players. And I think there are a lot of baseball is not war by any means, but having some of the parallels in terms of how you compete and that kind of thing. Learned a lot from him there. He coached Griffin Jacks, who's another big leaguer. And he's been around really good baseball. He coached against Strasburg when Strasburg was at San Diego State. And so he knows what good looks like. And he knows how to go about your business and that kind of thing. Coach Johnson, I mean, I don't know how many big leaguers he's coached. He's won everywhere that he's coached, and he's a young head coach who's won a national championship. So he knows how to win, and that was a really cool thing for me to be able to experience. It's just learning what a winning organization looks like, and how you go about your business and that kind of thing. It's both of those guys have been really, really big factors in my career.
Have you talked to them since the call up?
I've texted them. It's been a lot. So I've texted both of them. Got to catch up with both of them here soon.
I heard Kaz isn't a fan of your mustache. Just wanted to get your comment on that.
I mean, it could be worse. I could have a full beard, but no. I mean, you can have a mustache in the Air Force.
Right.
He wants us all to be clean shaven, but oh well.
Anything else? All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.